my dudes, welcome back to my channel. Thank you guys for all the love on my last video, Dear 18-year-olds. I'm really glad that some of you got some good information and advice out of it, and the rest of you feel nostalgic about being 18. Today's video is a little bit of a life update, but kind of focused on camp. In case you don't know, I have been working at a summer camp. I worked here last summer and I came back this summer, so I've got a little bit more information to share. By the way, shouts out to Skillshare for sponsoring this video and helping me pay my bills. We will talk more about that at the end of the video. Anyway, let's get into talking about camp. Okay, first of all, I got a lot of questions. A lot of people asked, talk about camp, talk about what you do, etc. I did make a video last year about my camp experience. I called it the hardest summer of my life, which was pretty true, in case you want to go back and watch that video. But my job and my life and everything has changed a lot from last year to this year. So let's jump in. Hey guys, so basically the first couple minutes of this video is me explaining my job last year and this year. The second bit is about the ideal camp personality, extroverted, introverted, whatever. And then the last bit is specific to my experience this summer. Shouts out to my lisp from my aligners. I'm not mentioning the name of the camp just because the YouTube me and the camp me, we are not affiliated. Though all of my campers last year knew I had a YouTube channel, a lot of the other campers know that I have a YouTube channel, but I don't rep it at camp. Anyway, it's a traditional co-ed 7 to 8 week summer camp, so it's basically the entire summer. We are in New York. At most camps, sleepaway camps like this, you are either a general counselor, which means you hang out with the kids all the time, do all the activities with them, or you are a specialist counselor who maybe does waterfront, swimming, boating, all of that, or some kind of other specialty, arts and crafts kind of stuff. At this camp we have a lot of technology-based electives, so that's where I have been. So last year I was in a bunk, I was with the teen girls, so we lived in one big house with the whole teen division, and I was a specialist in our TV studio elective. It wasn't exactly a TV studio, it was more like video production, but that's where I would be for most of my day, and then I would go hang out with my bunk and all of the teen girls for evening activities and all of those other things. So basically in that elective we were dealing with video. It's always 2 to 3 people in that elective. So basically each time a group of kids would come in, we would just think of an idea, we would film something with them, edit it, and that is it. There are also photographers and videographers at camp whose job it is to either take pictures of the kids all day at every activity or to record videos of everything that goes on and then make videos for the camp YouTube page. So this year, I was still half in the TV studio, kind of supervising it, and we had 2 new people in there working with me. And then I was half videographer working with my friend Claire. So during like evening activities, I would be filming. If there were plays or talent shows or performances, I would film the whole thing, sometimes upload things to YouTube, make kind of montage videos of everything that's going on during camp, that kind of thing. This year, obviously, I was not living in a bunk. Nathan works at the camp. We met here last year, and because he's one of the top leadership staff positions, so he, you know, has been living in a private room. There are private staff rooms for either older staff members or for people with jobs that don't really let them live in a bunk. So for this year, obviously because I am with Nathan, we were able to have me just live in here and not have a bunk, which also allowed me to have the time to be able to do all of the video work that I needed to do, because last year I struggled a little bit with like balancing my specialty and trying to really be dedicated to that and finish work and have time to edit things and also have the time and energy to be with my bunk of girls. So yes, it is very nice having a private room. Obviously there's not any of the bunk responsibilities that are what most people think of when they think of a summer camp counselor. So I think it was just a lot better suited for me this year, and obviously there's no way I would have been able to do all the work that I needed to do if I also had bunk responsibilities. And I need the privacy of this room to be able to film videos, the few videos that I was able to do over the summer, and do my own outside YouTube work because I still have to keep up this work during the summer, which is difficult. So that was a little bit of a general explanation, at least of my experience. A lot of people have very different experiences. Before I get into the next part of the video, I've got a little message from Skillshare. Skillshare is an online learning community with thousands of classes that teach creative, business, technology, and lifestyle skills. In the camp spirit, today I'm sharing some arts and crafts classes, including how to make your own wire rings and a watercolor course. Hey, I've always wanted to work in the art shack, but I don't have any art skills. What am I supposed to do? Skillshare, baby. And honestly, even if you don't intend to make your own rings or do watercolors, just watching these videos is very, very calming. These teachers just know what they're doing. So anyway, the Skillshare Premium membership gives you unlimited access to high-quality classes from experts working in their fields. You can try out a new hobby or work to improve on something that you already do. Recently, I read an article saying that our hobbies are the most interesting things about us. So if you don't have a hobby, you should probably pick one up. Skillshare is also more affordable than most other learning platforms out there. An annual subscription is less than $10 a month. Luckily for you, you can click the link in the description to sign up for a 2-month free trial for the first 500 people. Shouts out Skillshare! But next I want to talk about kind of what a camp personality is and why camp is a little bit difficult for me. Obviously, everything depends on how a camp runs, if it's a day camp, if it's a sleepaway camp, if it has sessions, what, each counselor's actual job is. But generally speaking, I'm going to talk about this camp because that's the only camp that I have experience with. You are working basically from like 8 a.m. to 9:30 p.m. on the days that you have nights off, or you're working all day until you and the kids go to sleep on the days where you are on duty at night. So right off the bat, to survive 7 to 8 weeks of this, you need to have a lot of energy, and I found that obviously extroverted people tend to do really well at camp because if you thrive when you're surrounded by people, if you feel more energized when you're in a group setting, camp is definitely for you. If you're a very spirited and outgoing person, you don't have any problems talking to new people or cheering or leading activities, you're gonna be awesome. Me, on the other hand, I feel like when I was younger, like maybe in middle school and high school, I was definitely more extroverted and more outgoing. But in past years, I think I've become a lot more of an introvert, or I'm just more in touch with that side of myself. So being an introvert at camp doesn't necessarily mean that you're doomed, but for me, it's very hard. Just as some extroverts get energy from being with people, I recharge by being alone. And especially last year when I was in a bunk, you don't have any alone time, really. You'll have maybe one rest period, like an hour in the day where you're off and you can, relax or chill or do whatever. But for me, especially being in a bunk, like I was just wiped out constantly. It was really, really hard for me. And to be honest, I'm not a very high energy person. Like I literally get physically tired pretty easily. I don't know if part of that is due to like the food that I eat at camp, because being a vegan at camp, that's another thing. It's a little bit tricky. This year the food is better. They've definitely improved since last year, and they're putting a lot more attention on special diets like gluten-free, vegetarian, vegan stuff, which is awesome. So I'm very happy about that. But still, it's not me cooking for myself at home, which is usually when I can make sure I'm getting all the right nutrients and things that I need. Anyway, that's off topic. Last year was so difficult for me just because I was so tired and I felt like I was never doing enough. Because especially as a specialist counselor, you're away from your bunk most of the day, 9 to 5-ish. And by the time you come back, you are supposed to use your extra time and energy to make sure you're still getting to know the kids, giving them time and attention, being spirited during activities. And at that point, in like every day, I was wiped out. I was over it. I could not be around people anymore. So it was like really, really hard for me. And I found that it's pretty alienating to feel like you're the only one at camp who's like that, You look around and you see all the really, really spirited, high energy extroverts. And for me, I was just like, why can't I just be like that? Why can't I make myself like that? But it's just not who I am. I have to accept who I am, or, how my personality works, or, Let me tell you, my dudes, I've been pretty freaking sick of my own personality recently. I'm like, why are you so shy? Why do you never want to hang out with anyone? Why can you only have like one friend at a time? Anybody relate? In case you can't tell, editing me is trying to be here as comic relief. But it's kind of hard to be funny when you're talking about the worst parts of your personality. Also, shouts out to I'm growing out my fringe and it's gonna look uncomfortable for months. Look, I look like I have a pixie cut. Of course, people aren't strictly introverted or strictly extroverted. Most people, you know, can sway between the two depending on the setting and everything, but I will admit, for me, camp is a struggle. It was difficult last summer. It was still pretty difficult for me this summer. So let's talk about that. So this summer I got to be with Nathan, which is great, even though, you know, we're busy doing different things all day. At least we got to know that every night, once all the activities were over, we'd be able to come in here, get to be able to talk with each other, watch some Netflix. And that was really, really nice. That definitely made me feel a lot better. I knew that all I had to do was get through my day of activities, and then at least my nights I would be able to rest and relax, which is definitely a huge privilege. This summer for me, I found that I was very distracted a lot of the time because of my YouTube work, because ordinarily, like, I'm making videos and recording podcasts and thinking about videos, planning videos, editing all the time, or even things like taking Instagram pictures. Doing this kind of work, like, it takes a lot of time and energy. And then, you know, talking with sponsors, emailing back and forth, businessy stuff, Skype calls, like, it's a lot. So coming to camp is such a world. Like, when you are here, most people, all you're thinking about is camp. But for me, because I still have to keep up with YouTube stuff, and I want to, you know, I could, if I wanted to, go, okay, I'm just not gonna post anything for 2 months of the summer. But as a YouTuber, content creator, whatever, it can be very detrimental to abandon all your channels and social media for that long. So suddenly. And then my situation this year with being in the TV studio and then also doing videographer work, which is a completely separate office, I found myself going between the two places, and it was just hard to communicate and make sure that I was doing all the work of 2 jobs that I needed to do, but I couldn't really commit 100% to either of them, so that was a bit of a struggle. And then on top of that, I was having some mental health issues this summer, which was just the cherry on top of everything. You know, it's like, I don't know if it was a combination of me being really hard on myself and comparing myself to others and feeling like I should be making more friends or getting involved in some way. I felt really isolated, and then I felt really shy. This summer there were so many times where I just did not feel like myself. I was literally like, who are you? And I didn't like myself. I don't know. It was very strange. I felt very self-conscious. I'm usually very I don't care in like a fun way. Like, I'm just like, I don't care, I'll be different. But this summer I was like, I didn't feel comfortable in myself. I'm still like, why? By the way, I feel better now. I feel weird posting this video now because this was only a few days ago, but I was a little sad. But now I feel better, at least today. I don't know. Everything changes. On top of that, or maybe some component of that as well, I was having some anxiety and depression, kind of in waves throughout the summer. And that's never easy. But especially when you're not, like, at home and you're working long days. Mental health is a fascinating thing. I'm always trying to work on how to get myself in the best state. Also, I feel like I've become a lot more controlling because I know what my anxiety triggers are, but in camp it's not a situation where I'm in control and I'm not at home, you know? So I think that in itself, me not having control, triggers me a little. Am I doing Skype therapy with you guys right now? That is a really, really hard emotional and mental state to be in when you're at camp and you're supposed to be on at all times because people see you and you're expected to be happy and outwardly energetic at all times. And I just felt so tired and, like, honestly empty. So yeah, it was hard to get through. And again, that has nothing to do with the camp or people. It was literally just me. But that's something I'll just have to deal with. And I need to learn, like, better coping mechanisms and, like, self-care and things. Anyway, I hope this wasn't, like, a downer of a video, and I hope that this doesn't scare any of you away who are considering working at a summer camp. It totally depends on the situation. It depends on you, your personality, your mental state, your motivation. It's a lot. For everyone, it is very challenging. It will test you. You need to be responsible. You need to be patient. But in general, it is a very rewarding and unique experience. So I think if you're interested in it, at least Try it out. Do a summer somewhere awesome, hopefully at a really great camp. You will certainly meet a lot of amazing people. And whether you want to come back in future years or not, you know, you can do camp once and that's your experience and it can be great. Okay, I'm sweating. Once again, Skillshare, thank you so much for sponsoring this video and helping me pay my bills. Make sure you guys click the link in the description to get your free trial, test it out, take a class, learn something new. And thank you guys for watching this long, exhausting video. I am sweating right now. I had to skip lunch because there's a band camp here and they're literally playing music 24/7 and the only time that they stop is for meals. I'm dedicated to the craft, everybody.
The craft.
By the way, I am still at camp because Nathan and the other leadership team members do events after camp, so they've got other camps coming for like a week at a time, such as this band camp. Also, there are weddings and other events that are hosted, so we're staying up here until basically the end of August. At camp, but not camp. You know? If you guys have any more video requests for me or questions about summer camp or your own summer camp experiences, please share them in the comments down below. Make sure you follow me on Instagram at @Tferg__. What a terrible username. And I feel like I'm about to pass out because it's very hot in here. Okay, thanks, bye!